There we go, Pat.
Hey, Ernest, how you doing?
I'm doing great, sir. How about yourself?
Fantastic, man. All right, so let me see if I could just try to get this thing to Facebook Live over to the Ecom Pinoy group really quick.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, just getting used to the Zoom thing, but super pumped up, super excited to meet you. Um,
Dude.
we definitely got a lot to chat about, man.
Cool, man. Yeah, absolutely.
All right, cool. Give me one sec here. All right, there we go. I think it's published. I think it's off and we are live.
Sweet. So did you guys want me to share this on my feed too as well, or
That's up to you. I mean, if we can get it out to as many people as possible, let's do it for sure.
yeah, I'm looking to see if I can find it right now. I'm in the
If
econ.
not, if not, we'll also have a recording after this that we could always upload as well.
Okay.
All right,
Good.
so sweet. So I think we're live now. Just to mention, like this right now is streaming to Ecom Pinoy, and again, other people from like Ecom Empires is seeing this, and then your group. So we're pretty pumped up to have you with us today. And later this month, we're actually going to be able to meet you in person, which is just unbelievable. That's really incredible stuff. Have you ever been to the Philippines before?
Yeah, no, so I have not been to the Philippines quite yet, so I'm pretty excited to be able to come out there.
So well, we're definitely excited to have you. The place where if there's guys here on this live channel that don't know, Ernest is flying down to the Philippines, and he's going to be joining us on June 21st through the 26th, Ecom Island, Bohol, which is just going to be incredible. So you're going to be there. Dimitri's going to be there. Nick, who I've met a few times, he's also going to be there. So definitely something to look forward to, and that's just a couple weeks away.
Yeah,
So
yeah, no, man, it's going to be absolutely off the charts.
absolutely. So obviously, I've personally seen a lot of the different, I guess, interviews, webinars, podcasts that you've done. Man, I mean, it just really is intriguing. How you're doing things in e-commerce, which is really, I guess, unconventional. But before I get into that, for people that don't know who you are just yet, can you give us a little bit of an introduction of like like your beginnings, like where you started and how you ended up where you're at right now?
Yeah, yeah, no, absolutely. So, uh, contrary to what most people see as far as like, kind of my story and history in the e-commerce space, I started back in 2009. Now, most of you guys probably only, really look at like the last 3 years of how I've been kind of kicking butt. But I did start, back in 2009 and, just had a terrible time, learning how all this stuff on the internet works. I was traditionally working in corporate as a marketing director, and then I became a sales director for a marketing firm. And I was managing some pretty big contracts for some multi-billion-dollar companies. And this was actually in my early 20s. So, I started really
Wow.
aggressively focusing on the corporate side of things, and climbing up that ladder, and things were going great. And then I found out that the ladder was on the wrong wall, and I fell over. So ultimately,
Yeah.
I got fired from the company I was working for, and man, it was just it really just kind of broke my spirit at that point in time. And I just like, man, like I don't want to have to, feel this way or put myself in this type of position ever again. And I just started aggressively looking for other ways to generate, income. So I tried like network marketing, I tried doing like affiliate marketing, setting up blog websites, setting up a traditional company, and I just did all these different things for a couple of years. And nothing just really just kind of clicked and worked too well. And so I ultimately had to go back to working in corporate just so I could be able to provide for my family and everything. And I just was like, man, I can't really see myself being here long term. And I just need to be able to do something different to really, position myself for, security, and knowing that I can, just be able to really know that I can take care of my family. So, I started aggressively looking into internet marketing, and a Facebook ad popped up talking about this whole e-commerce thing, and I
Yeah.
was like, man, nobody makes money doing that stuff. I was like, because I started back in 2009, and when I had learned about it then, I had never met anybody that actually had any success. And so, back in 2009, like YouTube wasn't really that big, Facebook ads weren't really hitting. So I didn't even see anybody like on the internet that was really like getting massive success doing e-commerce. But I ran across a statistic from the U.S. Census Bureau that said that at the time, I think it was like I want to say like 200 to 300 billion dollars that was circulating through like the U.S. market in e-commerce. And I was like, man, that's a lot of money. And it projected that it was going to be about 600, 700 billion by 2020. And I was like, man, I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed, but I could probably figure out how to get a little piece of that pie, right? just
Yeah,
a
for
little.
sure.
I didn't got to get all of it. I just get a little bit of that pie. So I was like, there's got to be a way to make this stuff work. And so then I started getting hit with like Facebook ads because marketers were on their game, and I'm like, okay, so there actually are people making money doing this stuff. And it just raised my belief level enough to where I said, you know what, let me really go after this thing. And the one difference between I know what I made, from a mental aspect, was that I said, for 30 days, I'm going to work as hard on my business for 30 days as what I did for my job, right? Because one of the things I looked at and held myself accountable for was the fact that, over the years, telling myself that, other stuff wouldn't work, was the fact that I never really genuinely put in the effort to really make it work, right? Like I was doing real well. Like I always got results from like, a corporate standpoint, and, building teams and helping organizations grow and things of that nature. But I was just like, whenever I really did attempt to do something for myself,
Yeah.
I just did it like a hobby. And so it paid me like a hobby. So I said, you know what?
So
I'm going to decide to treat this new ecom thing like a business.
absolutely. I mean, you said it right there. I mean, you have to really like dive in deep, put 100% of focus and concentration if you're going to make it work. I just personally recently got into e-commerce less than a year ago, and the experience so far has been incredible. But I getting into it the first time, I was like, oh, this is a good way to like make some extra bucks, and I don't have to put all my time into it. And let's see what happens. Boy, I was definitely wrong. You have to put 100% of yourself into that business to make it grow, right? It's like any type of business you get into.
Yeah, and that's
So
like if you really want to like make some good money, like if you want to make $500 to $1,000 or something like that, you can probably get away with like, halfway doing it. I see people do it all the time. That's not that hard to be able to do to make, some decent money. But if you want to make, 50K a month, 80K a month, 100K a month, you're not going to be able to do that seriously with just kind of
Yeah,
poking at.
absolutely. So going back to like, and something that I know about you, and going back to what I was saying a couple minutes ago about how unconventional sometimes your methods are. You're into like high ticket e-com, which, I guess depending on the person, I saw a post, I forget where it was, but it said something like, what is considered high ticket e-com? And some guys are like, anything that's like $60 or above. And then some other guy was like, no, you got it all wrong. Like it's if 4,000 and above items are high ticket e-com. So like, what is your definition, Ernest, of like what a high ticket e-com product is?
Yeah, so personally for me, I consider high ticket e-com like stores that have an average order value over $200, right? So if you really look at like the most traditional like e-com stores, and again, you don't have
Yeah.
to, be a rocket scientist about, most people's stores that are putting up screenshots and stuff, but you can easily go on a lot of people's, screenshots and see how much the amount of revenue that they're doing versus, the amount of orders they have, and that'll tell you what their AOV is, which is average order value, right? So for me personally, I consider a high ticket store anything over $200 because how you're going to structure that store is going to be a whole lot different in terms of like operations, perceived value, how you kind of lay out some of the different elements in the store a lot differently than what you would do for like a store that's selling less expensive products. It's just not as big of a commitment to someone to give you, $20 or $10 versus, 200 or 1,000 or 4,000.
Absolutely makes total sense. So in other words, what you're saying is like for guys that are going to be going into high ticket e-com, anything that's like $200 and above, the way you structure out your store is going to be very different than the way you would structure it out if it was like a $40, $60 item.
Yeah, exactly. And
For
a
sure.
lot of the core competencies are still somewhat similar. It's just that, people just need to really feel secure about that transaction because, at the end of the day, and this is one of the things I've been reminding a lot of students that I've been working with recently is the fact that, hey, you got to remember as a consumer, you're asking someone to give you, $1,000, $200, whatever that number is. It's still a high dollar amount for what we're doing, and we're asking people to give that to us that have never seen us, they never talked to us. So we need to make them feel as comfortable as possible in the process of that transaction, so we can make money while we're sleeping.
That man, that's what it's all about. Yeah, I mean, if you're asking a customer to give me like $1,000 today for this product, most people are like, let me walk in the store and see that. So the fact that you can get people to buy thousands of dollars worth of items online is just incredible.
Yeah, yeah,
I guess it takes a certain type of skill level and experience more than anything to do something like that.
yeah. Now we're gonna be dropping the heat at the at the Ecom Bohol event. So yeah, you guys are definitely gonna see what all that kind of looks like. So yeah, it's gonna be great.
Sweet. Now, speaking of like the Ecom Island Bohol, which I'm super pumped up about because like it was like 2 months ago was my first time ever going to Bohol, and I've lived in the Philippines now for almost 10 years. And for some reason, I never made it out there, but I went there about 2 months ago, and it was absolutely gorgeous. I mean, probably the prettiest place I've ever seen in my life. So it's I was swimming with the sea turtles and had a whole bunch of fun, man. So
I
that's
don't
gonna
know
be
about
great.
turtles.
And
I want you guys with the turtles.
you're gonna let us have all the fun, huh?
Yeah, yeah. I watch though. I enjoy from the boat or the beach wherever we're at.
There you go. Well, the other thing is like for these guys that are joining us, and we have people joining us from like all over the world, coming to Bohol to have a couple days with you, Demetri's, and the whole gang, Nick. So when people go to masterminds, and for anybody that hasn't been to a mastermind before, because this is kind of considered a mastermind, what's happening towards the end of the month. What's like, what do people get out of it? I mean, do they find success faster, in your opinion, when people attend a mastermind? Aside from meeting great people and learning new stuff, what would you say is like the most important aspect that people can get out of joining a mastermind like this?
Yeah, so the biggest thing, there's so many different things that you really get out of a mastermind. I mean, just to be able to rub shoulders with, some of the, just more elite people that's in the game that's really taking it serious. There's going to be things that you're going to be able to, pick up and take away from, that event, or, an event of this caliber that you're not going to get anywhere else, right? A great example of that is just, being at a mastermind event. I just was at one in Atlanta, and, there was a gentleman there, and toward the end of the event, we were kind of having a conversation, and, he was asking about how he can increase like his AOV, and I gave him a recommendation. He literally implemented that within like 30 minutes and, received like, it was like 120% increase on like his next sale that he got by executing on something that I recommended, right? Where else do you like get some of that? It was nothing that he ever thought of or knew about, or a strategy that he could implement. And it's just like now, he's probably going to make an extra $2,000 to $3,000 extra profit a month off of one recommendation that I gave him that he decided to execute on very quickly. And so, it's that type of stuff that you get. So you look at to go to the event that we were at, you're looking at, your plane ticket, your hotel costs, the cost of the event. You're looking at, $4 or $5 to get to that event, right? But if you take what you learn from the event and you execute on it, like, what's that $5 compared to like the other $30 that he's going to make, conservatively, just by executing on that one thing on one store? You take that and you open up another 4 stores, you're looking at an extra $120,000 profit that you're getting at the end of the year, right? So
Yeah.
that's the type of stuff that you get. Like, those are the takeaways. And the thing is too, like in a mastermind, you're going to be able, like, for us that's, doing the teaching, and not even some people that are doing like the teaching and, running the different components of the workshop and the mastermind. But, there's going to be people that are there that, are doing extremely well for themselves, that, hey, they'll probably open up about certain strategies or certain things that they're doing that you're not going to get on the internet. A lot of times I tell people, like, once you start hanging around me, you're going to get a lot of stuff. Like 90% of the content that I'm going to talk about is non-Googleable, right? You're not going to be able to look up what I tell you on Google. Like, I'm very confident on that, right? So
So
that's the type of stuff that you get at going to private masterminds.
dude, that was just so inspiring, man. That's what it's all about. Like, I've had an experience with like one mastermind, and I'm hoping to do more. This is going to be my second. I'm going to continue doing this stuff because the first time I ever went, it's what kind of like got me off my butt and started making me work for what I deserve, like, and that's what it's all about. Go out there and get it. And I just learned so much in a few days, and now we have you and Ernest, and you and Demetrius and Nick. So it's going to be just triple the experience. So
Yeah, I
definitely.
can tell you personally, there was an event that I went to in California, and I met an individual there, and as a result of that relationship, over the last 4 months, conservatively, that added an extra $20,000 profit to my business from that one event, like conservatively, right? Off of just one relationship, one key thing that I took away and I started implementing and executing on. So yeah, like to go to the mastermind events is just that you're going to get that. It's just so much more that you get from that, and being able to just rub shoulders with people that are in the game, actively winning, from, the presenters to the people that's in the crowd. Like, you just know that you're around like a higher caliber type of person. And not saying like, hey, if you can't go to the event, I'm not saying that you're like a bad person, or if you don't go to masterminds, like you're not cool, nothing like that. It's just like, the difference between, if you're in the IT industry, hanging around with your coworkers, and then going to hang around with like Bill Gates, right? Like, he's probably
That,
going to teach you some stuff like you probably had no idea was even possible in the world of IT, right? Like,
that's what it's about. Yeah. So, surround yourself with people that, are like-minded individuals, people that are hopefully like better than you, and you're going to do just fine. So that's kind of what happens generally, right?
Yeah,
The other
yeah.
thing, just kind of like, oh, go
It's
ahead.
all. No, I'm just saying, man. I'm just fired up, man. I'm excited for
Yeah,
every coming there because I know the quality of people that that Ace attracts from just following everything that he does and like knowing Nick and knowing Demetrius. Like I know the quality of people that these guys attract, and so I'm just super excited for you guys to be out there just to be able to rub shoulders and just kind of fan the flame of the fire that's already there.
absolutely. Hey, by the way, yeah, great. Shout out to Ace Estrada for putting this together, this connection here, and making this all work out. So one of the things that people probably want to know is like, Ernest, did you start out with high ticket items, or did you move in to like, were you doing low ticket items and then worked your way up?
Yeah, so when we fast forward all the way back to like 2009, I not knowing what the heck was going on, I never really started like an ecom store, but I was starting the traditional route of actually doing like lower ticket items. And when I fast forward all the way to 2000, 15, when I started looking at like really pursuing e-commerce, as like something I was going to really genuinely do, that's when I said, I started looking at how I could position myself in terms of like, starting a business and all the different ins and outs. And something just really clicked, after going through tons of different content that's out there. I was just like, man, if I look at it, just from the operations side of things, right? Because I was kind of looking at it from that perspective. Like, it takes the same energy and effort to build a website for like a low ticket store as it does for like a high ticket store. Like, we both got to build a website. We both got to get a logo. We both got to learn how to market. We both got to learn how to advertise. And I was just like, well, if I could just, find products that were a little bit more expensive, like the component of the work is still the same. So how about I just go this other route and see what happens? And it just so happened that it worked out really well.
Absolutely. So, you said something very interesting there. I mean, it's all the same thing. If you're doing low ticket items or you got to build a website, but you may need possibly some additional funnels down the line or whatever for your high ticket item store, possibly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's going to be some other strategies that are going to need to be implemented, opposed to like what you traditionally would do for like the strategies to sell low ticket items and high ticket items is completely different. And how especially from an advertising perspective and driving traffic to your site, you're going to be using completely different strategies when it comes to that. But just like when I looked at everything, not knowing any of this stuff, 3 years ago, it just the core competencies of the work initially to get started was practically the same. And that's what I looked at. And then I realized that, hey, I'm going to have to learn some other stuff that I didn't even know I had to learn.
Absolutely. And and one thing that's really interesting about like the different things that I've, heard about how you're doing things is that you're working more with, I think, Google. Is that the advertising channel that you're currently working with at the moment? Or I know a lot of guys that drop ship, including myself. I, primarily rely on Facebook, but it's a little different ball game, I guess, with high ticket as well.
Oh yeah, I've never ran a Facebook ad ever in my life. I don't even like. I just learned how to put a pixel on my website. Like I don't know, like 3 or 4 months ago. So a Facebook pixel, anyways. So yeah, I've never ran a Facebook ad. Well, let me backtrack. I did boost the post once. I boosted the post once, so I don't know if
There
that
you
counts.
go.
But aside from that, yeah, I've
Wow.
never done a Facebook ad. And
So,
contrary to belief, Facebook isn't even, the number. They don't even get the most traffic every single day in like the world. Like the number one visited website in the world is actually Google, right? They get more traffic than anybody else every single day. And Facebook isn't even number two. And I know that comes as a shock. Most people are like, oh, all right, well, if they're not number one, they got to be number two. No, they're
right.
not even number two. YouTube is actually number two, right? So you got Google, you got YouTube, then you have Facebook, right? So yeah, the traffic, there's a lot of traffic out there, especially on Google. And yeah, it's a beautiful place to be advertising because everybody else is in Facebook land driving up calls.
Absolutely. That's the one thing that has come up, I guess, over the last couple of months, how expensive Facebook has gotten, depending on, your target. Obviously, there's some places where it's still pretty affordable, but generally speaking, it has gone up. But for Google AdWords, that's a whole different type of traffic because people, they already know what they're looking for, versus like somebody on Facebook where it's like, oh, look at this ad that somewhat interests me.
Yeah, you can actually control the intent of the customers that come to your website. So, right, so the more specific people are in their search queries, like on Google, the more specific, like the more they're actively looking for that particular type of product. So, if someone puts in, a specific, product and the product type, and then, if they so happen to add like a SKU number to that, that's somebody that's going on Google and saying, "Hey, I want this product. Google, show me where I can get it from," right? And so if you focus on driving those type of people to your website, you have a high likelihood for success, especially with selling high ticket products.
So it's highly qualified traffic that you're sending over. That's like your top level funnel that trickles down. That's fantastic. Do you do any mix up with like bringing that traffic in and then maybe doing a remarketing campaign on Facebook?
Yeah, no, I don't even do remarketing on Facebook. Like when I say I've never ran a Facebook ad, like other than the one boosted post, I don't even
Wow.
remarket them.
That's unbelievable. Yeah, I mean that's one thing. Like I know in this, in the U.S. at least, a lot of people have like heard about AdWords or actually doing AdWords, and other guys, they hear about it, but they don't really know about it. They haven't, fooled around with it. Here in the Philippines, one of the things that like I've noticed amongst the ecom community. I mean, I guess there are some people doing Google, but like very, very few. So I guess that could be a huge opportunity because there's less advertisers. Probably you'll probably get good cost, good CPCs, good stats, good metrics.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And it's a lot of people, that's still in the Google world, especially like you talk about like, media buyers that's been in the game for like if someone's been in the game for like 5 or 10 years, like they're definitely over there on Google. I haven't met a media buyer that's actively been in the game, that's not on Google, right? Where everyone else is like mainly focusing on Facebook. So yeah, that's definitely a lot of opportunity there. And a lot of times too, depending on what it is that you're looking to sell, you'll see that there's way less competition of people that are actually advertising, or even advertising the right way. I know one of the things that keeps people away from Google is that they feel like it's too hard, or like it's a lot going on. And I will be honest, yeah, when you don't know what you're doing, you get in there, it'll be very challenging to figure out. And actually, setting up the campaigns the right way, and getting everything to connect and communicate, a lot of that information isn't even on Google either. So it's just like, how do I get all this stuff to work right? Well, that's why you find, really awesome masterminds like Ace is putting on. And, you go out to them so you can figure out how this stuff works.
So we'll figure out from the master himself how to put this stuff together the right way.
Yes,
So
indeed.
the other thing, Ernest, I want to bring up is like, Google. Some people say it's, well, I haven't, this is not here in the Philippines, but some of my US clients are like, I mentioned Google because I have a web company and I do a little marketing lead generation for them as well. Sometimes I say Google and they're like, oh, expensive. It's a lot of money. Well, I mean, really, like realistically, if you don't have a lot of money to spend on advertising, could you still make it work?
Oh yeah, absolutely. And that's where you can really control like the intent of the traffic that you drive, right? So if you're focusing more on what's called like long tail keywords, like keywords that are, again, very, very specific, you'll probably have a higher likelihood of getting those people to convert versus if you were using what's considered like generic keywords, like, high level, like a high level keyword for, just a generic term, right? Those are going to be
Right.
more expensive because those are people that aren't exact, like they're unsure of what it is that they want to actually get, right? So that person is going to be a little bit more expensive to convert versus like somebody that knows specifically what they're looking for.
Makes sense. Okay, cool. So, That was just Ace pinging me up. He said that I was coming in kind of black, like they couldn't see me. But hopefully you can see me all right, right?
Yeah, I can see you just fine. I don't know. Maybe they were talking about me.
so get man, that I mean what you're dropping here is really, really great stuff. And like, some of the things that, and you're a Google guy, so like, I mean, there's some guys that I talk to that like they're 100% rely on Facebook, and they don't even have a Google Analytics installed on their store. Like, what are
Wow.
they missing out on?
Number one, like you have to have Google Analytics installed in your store. I don't care where you're driving traffic from. Even if you're the person that's listening to this right now, just like, well, I'll never pay for traffic. I'm an SEO person. Well, you still need to have Google Analytics in your store because that's going to tell you everything that you need to know regarding like, what the heck is actually going on behind the scenes. Like, obviously, I know you got your Facebook metrics and it'll tell you what your CPC is, your quality score, your CPA, all that good stuff. But like, aside from that, like what about the organic traffic that you're actually getting to your store? What about the people that come back that are just searching for you? Or what about the people that even bookmark your website and then come back to it later down the road? Like you need to know how to be able to serve those people. And if you don't have the data to actually guide your decision, how can you even know how to make a decision?
So in essence, it's your eyes and ears. Get analytics if you don't have it. And I mean, do you look at if for you to optimize your different funnels and stuff? I mean, are you relying primarily on like analytics data to give you those insights?
Yeah, so like on just like a quick like look into the store, like if I'm just like, hey, what the heck is going on? I'll just pop into Shopify or whatever site builder it is that you're using. Hopefully you're using Shopify because they're amazing. But I'll pop into there and I'll just look at like a quick overview of like the analytics that's on the store just to kind of get a sneak peek of what's happening. Now, when I want to actually go through and do due diligence on what the heck is going on in the store, like all those primary metrics, because like Shopify is not telling you like what's the average amount of time someone's spending on your site, how many pages it is that they're actually clicking, what's the bounce rate, what are your top view pages. You're not getting any of that information, right? So yes, primarily to make business decisions, because you can't make a decision based off of your business if you don't have the numbers and information from the business to know what to make a decision on. So to figure out which pages that I need to optimize to help improve conversions on, aside from like, I don't know, I think it's like only like 5 or 7, pages that Shopify tells you, even if you're paying for the $80 a month plan, you're not getting all the data that you need to really fully like optimize the product pages that you are driving traffic to. So yes, Google Analytics is going to do that. And you also need to have Google Webmaster Tools connected and get your site indexed. So then now, you know where other traffic is coming in from an organic perspective, and you can have Google crawl your site a lot more frequently so you can get indexed better.
So I mean, all these resources are out there. Just basically use them. Get into Google Webmasters, learn about webmasters, get analytics in there. Go through the tabs, learn the data. So that's some great advice, and that's the proper way probably to optimize your funnels. When it comes to like trying to find these like higher ticket items, is it because like on a daily basis, myself and a lot of different e-commerce guys, we do product research. You know about that. Like we're all day long, product research, product research, product research. But a lot of us are used to product research for $40 items and not $200 and $500 and $1,000 items. So is it in terms of a difficulty level, and any tips or advice that you can give when it comes to that type of research?
Yeah, so when it comes like to researching and searching for high ticket items, really it just comes down to like shifting your perspective on what it is that you're actually sourcing for. Like, it's really there's really no big overarching difference between, doing product research for low ticket items versus high ticket items, except that, again, you're looking for a higher threshold of those products, right? And so you're gonna possibly like go through unconventional ways to source those products from like, going to, maybe checking out like, big box retail stores, seeing what they're advertising on like their homepage or what's, their hot selling products, and just jotting down a few ideas from there. You can go through other sites like Craigslist and see what other people are actually selling and listing over there, because, hey, if they took the time to buy it, even though they're just listing it for sale, at some point they did have to buy it, right? So jotting down products from there. I know one of the places that I source products from every single day is actually the marketplace on Facebook. So most people don't even like realize that that's a thing now. But there's a little tab. I don't know
Yeah.
if it shows up for you guys, but it shows up for us here in the U.S. Where on Facebook, they got a marketplace where people can list and sell products, right? So I go through that
We have it
marketplace.
over here too. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So yeah, I just pull that up every single day, and this is some. And for me personally, product research never ends. Like whether I'm actively going to selling a niche, or I'm just going through life every single day. I'm always looking for products everywhere I go, everything I do. If I'm just browsing the internet, if I see something I'm not familiar with, I'm always, always, always actively looking for products. And the thing is that when you're looking for something and you condition your mind to start to source that, it's like more of that stuff starts to appear. The actual technical term of that is called like your RRS. It's called your reticular activating system, right? It's the thing that triggers in your mind that will actually start to find more of what you're actually looking for. It's like, if you've ever bought something that you really, really wanted, and you felt as though like no one else ever had it. Like, let's say, for example, you decided to buy like a white Honda Civic. You're like, man, nobody's driving white Honda Civics in my area. Like, once I get one, it's going to be cool. No one's ever going to have it. And then as soon as you get one, you notice everyone else has a white Honda Civic. And you're like, man, where did these white Honda Civics come from? Like, I thought I was the only one that was going to get one, right? But you start to notice more of them. And that's because, again, your RES starts to trigger in your mind. So your mind is more aware of what it is that it's actually looking at and looking for. And that's one of the things that you'll have to do from a just kind of like a mindset perspective to start being able to find these other products that have a higher value to them, higher value.
I see exactly what you mean. I mean, it's kind of like what you said in the beginning. It's all the same components, like low ticket and high ticket, all the same components. We have to do product research. Most people do product research on AliExpress or Alibaba or Amazon. You're doing product research on, Craigslist and the Facebook Marketplace. And so I kind of see what you mean. They're about the same components, but a little different process, I guess.
Exactly. Yep. Yeah, because the first thing is like, developing a list of products and figuring out what niches and stuff are available. So like, before you can, do further market research to figure out like if you can sell in that particular niches, you have to have niches to research, right? So first thing is like, well, how do I come up with these different ideas to actually research if I don't know any better? So for me, like, when I first started, I used everything I possibly could. Like I went to I went to like physical stores, I went to mom and pop shops, I went to retail stores, I went through online magazines. I went to Google and I checked out like, hobby lists. Like I was just, figuring out where can I source all these different, physical products from. I went to eBay top sellers, Amazon top sellers, sorted through like price points, and just, made sure I was only looking at stuff that was over $200. All those different things. That's everything that I was doing to just find stuff, from going to friends' houses to going to restaurants, looking around. I mean, just everywhere. When I go to places now, I even point out products like, yep, I know that's dropship friendly. Yep, I'm gonna check that out. Yep, I'm probably gonna sell that. So
Wow, that's incredible. Yeah.
yeah, everywhere I go, like people that hang around me, like, no, this is like I really do this. Like I live this lifestyle, and I have an ever growing like list of niches that I'm constantly like taking ideas down on, and just adding that to a list for researching. Shoot, I spent 15 hours just like a week or so ago just sitting down doing product research just for 15 hours straight. Like I don't know why. Like I was just in the mood to like research a couple, and it was just like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm just do a couple of these products, then a couple of these products. Next thing you know, I'm like, man, 15 hours just passed by.
So I mean that's the one thing I'm seeing that's like every successful e-commerce guy has, which is the dedication to do the right product research and to just spend a good amount of time making sure you're picking the right products for your customers. Um, Ernest, do you do anything with YouTube?
No, I haven't done anything with YouTube yet. I'm
Okay.
starting to get some traffic from YouTube for for some different stuff, but like it's nothing to like write home about and be like, oh, I'm a YouTube person now. So yeah, not
Absolutely. No, I've been hearing a lot of things about YouTube lately. People are saying it's like the next big thing. Jump on YouTube, before it goes. But like I haven't meddled with it myself either. But that's something I definitely like to look into as well. Um,
and also
hi,
too, while you
yeah,
touch base on that, just to kind of talk about the media perspective, like if you're only relying on one source of traffic, just in general, like you have a very one-legged business. And if anything happens to that source, like your whole business is going to crumble. So if you're not already looking into other sources to buy media from, like, start doing it right now. And I'm only telling you that, and anybody that's been in the game long enough, they'll tell you at some point or another they had a traumatic situation or circumstance that comes up, and trust and believe, like you're no exception to the rule. At some point, some whoever you're buying traffic from is going to slap you, and your account's going to be missing, and all sorts of crazy stuff is going to happen. It happened to me. I got suspended from Google for like 2 or 3 months for just some like really just ridiculous stuff, and I lost 70% of my income overnight, just up and gone,
wow,
right? And it was 90% at the time. But because of my network and going to masterminds and stuff like that, I was able to find some other sources to drive traffic from. Started buckling down a little bit more on SEO, and started buying media from other places. And I was able to recover about 30 to 40% of that. But still, for a few months, and I was not making nowhere near as much money I was making before. And so that was obviously a problem, right? But when you go to masterminds and events and you network and you build relationships, I was able to easily pick up the phone and talk to some really good friends of mine and make some changes and adjustments in my business that allowed me to recover. I mean, it was so bad. Like when that happened after like the first month, and I really wasn't doing much like with other media. I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna have to go get a job. Like people gonna be like, man, Ernest went back to work. He's a loser, right? That was
yeah. I
exactly.
mean, when that happens, it's like the apocalypse just is here. You know what I mean? I know people that have lost their business manager account on Facebook, and boom, it's like done. That's it, game over. For at least until you can get another business manager account. So diversify, get on
Yes.
Google, try different things, get on Pinterest, do a little bit Instagram, and see what works.
Yep.
Cool.
Absolutely.
Is there like, and this is the other thing that like comes up a lot, and I'm sorry for all the questions, Ernest. I just want to definitely give the group tremendous value, and I think so far we've gotten a lot of golden nuggets here, man. So I appreciate you. Thank you so much. When it comes to like high ticket ecom, one of the things that comes up a lot is like people say, oh, that's risky. It's a risky business because it's like you're talking of products that are like $500-600. Is it really risky?
Absolutely not. I just laugh when I see people that. And actually, I personally, I want more people to think it's risky because I don't want you coming to my world, right? Think it's risky all you want, but no, absolutely not. It's definitely the risk factor is the same, right? There is no risk. Like you're still selling a physical product that's still going to get sent to someone from your actual supplier. Now, in terms of relationship wise, and fulfillment, that's going to need to happen at a quicker pace in order for your customers to really feel comfortable. They're not going to want to wait like your traditional low ticket times to receive those products. So pending that you got the right supplier relationships in place in terms of the risk factor, yeah, the risk is still the same. You're still going to have someone that's going to purchase the product, and they're going to order from your website, and you're going to get it sent to them, and they're going to enjoy the fact of the product once they receive it. And if any issues come up, now here's the thing, like, and I don't know a whole lot about how you guys handle low ticket items when someone has an issue with the product, but because with high ticket you're building relationships with the actual suppliers and manufacturers, if an issue comes up with the product, it'll be covered by the warranty. Or if they happen to receive the product and it's damaged or something like that, they will actually replace the product for the customer, as long as they notify you in a timely manner, which they're going to, because you have all your policies and everything set up. You have your automated email sequences that go out and tell people about that information. So when they notify you, just let the supplier know, like, hey, product showed up damaged, or hey, there's some scuff marks on it or whatever, customer wants a replacement, and they'll actually get a new one shipped out and pick up the old one that's there and bring that back to the warehouse. So most people probably don't realize like that component is there, like with high ticket items, but because you're working with the suppliers with that, it's even lesser. I don't even think there's a real word, lesser risky, right? Lesser.
Yeah.
You got a real brand that's like backing up your company that's going to help you handle those situations as they arise.
Yeah, I mean, there's just tremendous value in just that there's the main manufacturer backs you up. I mean, that's one thing high ticket ecom has going for sure. The other thing is like for AdWords, like just generally as an advertising channel, and I guess if you're doing like high ticket ecom, you're I guess in a certain niche. Does AdWords work the same on general stores? Would it have the same type of effect as if you were to do set up AdWords campaigns for a niche store?
Yeah, so typically, like I always recommend like when you go into a niche that you be more specific, like with the niche, because you already know all the reasons and components, and if you guys don't, and you're watching this right now, you'll start to learn that stuff too. But in terms of like whether it's a niche store or a general store, the only thing is that you're going to want to possibly like set up your campaigns a little bit different to where one of the ways that you manage your campaigns with like in AdWords is that you have what's called like negative keywords, and so like there'll be more negative keywords that'll be in one campaign versus another in terms of like management wise. So I wouldn't say like it's going to be the same. It's going to have the same effect, but you'll want to manage your campaigns in a little bit different manner on a general store versus if it was like a niche specific store.
Makes total sense. Well, listen, we're Ernest. We're almost out of time, so I'm going to right now just thank you for being with us today. I know it's got to be like 8 o'clock in the morning over there.
Yeah, you guys are lucky because I don't typically do anything before 11. Like before
Yay.
11
Yeah.
a.m. Like, I don't really respond to emails. I like it like that time is like Ernest chill time and like whatever the kids want to do time. So yeah, I usually don't do nothing before 11. But hey, you guys got me.
There we go. The other we're the same way on this side of the world too. Don't worry.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, like
Yeah.
ecom guys and then marketing guys, we like we do things a whole lot unconventional. Like people are like, you don't do anything before 11? Nope. Don't call me. Don't message me. Like you won't hear from me. Now, obviously, that's a little bit different, right?
Yeah. Well, that's part of the lifestyle too. Once you get to master these different things and have these experiences, you can go out there and create your own lifestyle, live the way you want to live. And I think that's why everybody's like, this is so popular right now, is because everybody wants what they want. So, dude, that's awesome.
Yeah, my goal is before 12 p.m. Eastern time is to have like $1,000 to $2,000 profit in the bank each day before I start to progress. That's how I know it's going to be a good day.
Man, well, it's good to be you for sure. The other thing is like you went to you were at the Ecom Bali Mastermind with Demetrius and Nick. How was that? How was that event? Did you guys have fun? Was the crowd good crowd?
Oh yeah, man. Like I said, Nick and Demetrius, like those guys like attract some of the most high caliber individuals in the globe that come into their different events. So yeah, it was absolutely spectacular. I picked up a ton of different nuggets. Actually, up until that, I don't think I had taken like really that many notes of the different events I went to. And just there, I think it was like 6 or 7 pages of notes just from that event myself. On things that I'm working on and executing on. So yeah, it was an absolute game changer. I know for me personally. So if you guys are watching this or listening to this right now, I know we got the event coming up in Bohol. And you might be like on the edge, like, man, can I make it? Should I make it? I'm telling you, take a leap of faith and do whatever you can to get to that event. And I know with every fiber of my being that if you make it there, you will get exactly what it is that you need in order to get to that next level that you're looking to get to. I'm telling you, I know personally, like and you guys have, you know, kind of looked me up a little bit. If you haven't had an opportunity to, you know, there was tons of sacrifices that I had to make myself personally in order to, you know, continue to progress. So if you're on the fence right now, you're like, man, I don't know if I have enough to make it. I'm telling you, just do whatever you can to clear your schedule to get to that event, because it is going to absolutely change your game in this industry. If you're really serious about taking this business serious, I can just tell you with every fiber of my being that that will do that for you.
Man, that's unbelievable, and I mean that it's 100% true as well. I mean, I told you I went to one mastermind, and after that, my whole life changed. And you know, I'm ready to make another big leap. And if anybody's like on the fence about going to this type of event, you know, don't. You know, if you can come, man. They just get there. So the event's happening June 26th. Again, just to recap, June 26th through the 21st to the 26th. So five nights, 6 days in beautiful Bohol. That's at the end of the month. So I'll be getting to meet you in person, the rest of the guys. I'm so excited about that. And we also have webinars scheduled for my buddy Nick. So Nick will be live with us on a webinar as well early next week. And then towards the end of the week, we'll get, you know, to introduce Dimitris to the rest of the community and the rest of the guys out here.
Man, that's a blessing, guys. Definitely hop on these webbies that's happening, because man, these guys are going to absolutely share some really, really awesome info with you guys. But man, I look forward to seeing everyone out there in Econ Bohol. Man, it is going to be a blast, and more importantly, it's going to be a game changer for your business. And I'm super excited for you guys.
Well, I mean, thanks again, Ernest, for you know being here today and sharing your experiences and all these golden nuggets that you just threw out, man. And again, sorry for all the questions, but wow, it's just like we definitely, I personally got what I wanted to hear. That was just absolutely amazing. And again, guys, if you guys want to join Ecom Bohol and meet Ernest and meet the rest of the gang and learn about AdWords or, you know, Google Analytics and all this crazy stuff that some of us haven't even dabbled into yet, definitely go and contact Ace Estrada. Hit him up on his Facebook, Ace Estrada, message him, or send an email to aceestrada@springboard.com. So that's how you would do that. And Ernest, how about yourself? If people wanted to reach out to you directly, I know you got a website, you got Facebook, Twitter, you're everywhere. So what do people?
Yeah. I would say, you know, man, right now it's out of control with the messages and stuff. I got hundreds of messages across all these different platforms. But the best thing to do, like, if you guys want to just, you know, kind of get in contact as far as, like, you know, some content that's really good that I'm pumping out and things of that nature, you know, definitely check out the website, which is earnestepps.com, EarnestEpps.com. And then also check out the Facebook fan page. My personal page is jam-packed right now, maxed out on the friends list, and over 100 some messages in there right now.
Dang.
Yeah, I'm getting back to people slowly but surely. Like, actually, I went through my email, actually, like, I think it was like a week ago, and I got back to everyone that's ever messaged me over like this last year. I had people that messaged me back in March and was like, I never thought I'd hear from you. And I'm just like, no, I got back to you. It just took a little while.
That's what happens sometimes. I got thousands of messages in my email box and my inbox, and it's hard to get to them all, for sure. Yeah. But Ernest, we'll be seeing you in person in, man, a couple weeks.
Absolutely. Yeah, guys, I look forward to being there. So if you guys really want to connect with me at that event in Econ Bohol, and we look forward to helping you guys rock things out.
All right. We'll see you soon. Catch you later.
All right, later.